Hello. A bit early. Oops. I shouldn't pick up my screenshot. Good thing I looked up. I forgot to plug this in. Hi, Joycey. Have you been having fun this week? I've had fun. Staying focused on one thing is a trick for me. I imagine we'll have some more come trickling in. Lots of folks been catching replays, which is great. Videos with content never go out of style or lose an audience because the techniques never change. The mediums never change. It's just, some people are more creative with certain techniques and mediums than others. So, got my warming tray all heated up today. Oh, how cool. I should have sent you mine. And then we would have both paid $5 postage. I mean, I would have paid $5 twice. I know you'll have fun with it. I love gifts like that. Do you enjoy altering books? I've got a ton of really old ones with cool papers. If I had one here where I wasn't all blocked in, that would be fun today with these monoprints. I could lay eyes on one. I'm all boxed in. Okay. I don't know what kind of a day Lynn's having today. If she's not swamped at work, she'll be here in a little bit. I wish I could do a concept where you paint out everything but what you want, but I look at the pictures and I like it all. And then I think if I'm going to put that much time into something, I might as well paint it from scratch. There's that. And we're going to do a little bit of mono printing today, and we're going to try to split it half and do some pairs. I've got my board all smooth and ready to go. And I'm going to do the pairs and pan pastels. Hi, Gail. Good to see you. I was just telling Joycey I'm gonna do the first half with encaustic mono printing, and then the second half with a board that I've done. I had a request yesterday for pan pastels, so I'm going to do some pairs on this one. So that's what we've got planned, and then we're going out to eat for Halloween. And you can kind of guess that the old grunt butts don't really like answering the door. So if you have kids, it's fun, big fun. But we don't. We do in Denver. Daughter keeps trying to talk us into moving. That's an expensive town to live in. Ooh, you got it today. We're clear right now. Joycey just got a gift of an America book. I keep picking that up because I've got this hot plate going. And I got to tell y'all ahead of time, I'm not the best monoprint just doing pattern person. I do better in with the jelly plate, just doing thin coats and looking for the crusty bits, which isn't all that possible here. And the other thing I spent a lot of time researching this morning was the temperatures of a wood burning tool compared to a fuse tool compared to the quill pen. Yeah, the America book. I may get quiet one of these days and do something in it. I'll do some more. Well, yeah, you couldn't do it today. I remember those days. Everybody used to tease me that I could go into my closet and come out 10 minutes later and have a costume. I've always been a little bit bohemian, so I could come out as a gypsy real quick. Oh no. That's one thing about down here, we don't have basements so much. Some walkout basements, but not really anything like what you guys have in the north. I had a basement in South Arkansas and Pine Bluff, which was rare, but they built up the property so that the basement could be easier to dig down and make a basement. I had a sump pump in that one. As long as it worked, I didn't get any water. Ooh, I bet he is. That's a thing that's worth swearing over. Sometimes a good old swear is the best medicine. Excuse me. I've been catching up with some old friends that are doing live streams with not oil pastels, soft pastels, and then some others who are doing some oils. We're cold today, but it has warmed up 10 degrees since I got up. So I found out, I was just telling Gail, Joycey, that I did research this morning on the differences in the heat of a wood burning tool, just the El Cheapo wood burning tool by Walnut Hollow, and the fuse tool by Memory Keepers, and the new quill pen by Memory Keepers. And it appears that the only difference is the overall temperature. The wood burning tool has a temperature of around 700 degrees, which is hotter than Hades. The fuse tool has a temperature of around 450. Now I'm talking Fahrenheit. And the quill pen is around 160. So I'm going to be seeing if my temperature regulator will help me regulate that so that I can use foil. And of course, I bought the fuse tool. Pretty much they're all the same tool. It's just somehow or another they rigged the temperatures. And I noticed that since I've researched tools for that, Walnut Hollow has a new Versamark tool, and it has a temperature gauge built in, I believe, and wood burning tools do not. That's 700 degrees. Good Lord, no wonder it puts off smoke when you do wood. We'll wait a few more minutes. There are so many videos now vying for attention. But you better not get your feelers hurt if you don't get some of the live attendees. It's kind of like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I have trouble catching Aunt Bex, Mary, and Lizzie because they come on at odd times for me. Walnut Hollow also has one of these temperature gauges I've been showing you, and theirs is $29. You might find one cheaper somewhere. But if you can have one tool with all the attachments, I mean, I've got a calligraphy tool. I've got little tiny tools to write with. So I've got all the tools. All I have to do is bring that temperature down. And I will have a quill pen. But it sure was tempting. HSN had a deal on them for $30. I think it had 2 of the pens. And then their 4-pen pack was $70, I believe. And of course, it includes other stuff with it to make it enticing. I am a sucker for that stuff. But I didn't. I had one when I was a kid, like 10, 12, 13. We also played with mercury, so, times were different. Okie dokie. Yeah, it is a scary place. The only thing I don't like about it, I like Amazon Prime because it's cheap. I mean, you get it in 2 days. May not be the same package, but it's fast. Okay, we've got 5 folks watching, so hello to you lurkers. I'm sorry, not lurkers, those who wish to remain silent. And that's just fine because it is a big scary thing to learn how to talk on YouTube, and it puts a lot of people off. Okay, we are going to work with some monoprinting. And I said earlier that is, hey, Rosemary. Hey, Rosie, we're going to do this first, monotypes first, so I can turn my warming thing off. And then we're going to work on pan pastels. I'm going to do a painting of some pears. And I've got my board ready already. Yay, Vicki. So I'm going to kind of spend some time on this. So many of us use the jelly plate that it's almost redundant. I do find it very handy to have some kind of a silicone tool, because even just touching the griddle at 200 degrees with your fingers can get a little bit warm. So I'm going to move that out of the way. I had it there. This thing is not hot enough all at once because it's a variable temperature. And it's not hot enough all at once to melt big blocks. Ooh, that one's coming along. I think I better take that one out. After yesterday and realizing that I had white in my medium I was using, I thought I would just melt some pre-made a pre-made block. And I really do like pellets better, because if you're doing this, you got to prop it up in your container. It's just a pain in the butt. Now, if you're doing it in a saucepan or something like that, and you're going to use that much, then yeah, that's the way to go. This is so fun because you can just put stuff back in the drawer. Okay, push that back out of the way. I've got this here kind of warming now. I'm going to use these that pre-bots that melted the other day when the griddle decided to come on. Here we go. Make sure y'all can see me. Okay, sorry about the glare. Bear with me on that. This is the, I guess I can do something else a little bit better. Get out of yellow. I thought I had everything I was ready for. There's an alizarin crimson. So I have a red, blue, and a yellow. If anybody wants to know, well, we may do that tomorrow. Our 6th day. The ones that I make, which that's what this is, have a little more medium, wax medium in them than the ones I buy. And that's because they're working with stronger pigments. Now, just lay that down. I'm going to use my handy dandy little tool. And then I'm going to pick it up quickly. And there's your monoprint. Now, we're going to pick up the second pull. If I can get this turned away, that'll work. There are all kinds of variables on monoprinting with Encaustic that you can delve into, like the temperature and whether you put it on this anodized plate or not. And it makes no sense to me that it would not work just fine flat on the warming tray. The reason I pick it up from both sides is so that I don't get any drip type patterns. You can get those dendritic patterns if you pick it up from one side. Let's see. Poor little blue. It's got some icky color on it. I'll just mount it off. These are good for collaging. You can frame them if you do one that's frameable. My temperature gauge is fluctuating again. That's better. Coming off the bottom of the thing because that's where the concentration of paint is. Let's do one more blue. I think I hear some folks at home. And I'm not going to lie to you, I would rather have the store-bought. Come on now, you did that just perfect a minute ago. That's okay. That's all all we need. All right. Same as monoprinting on a jelly plate. I got to remember to watch chat. Got to remember to hold your tool up a little bit because I had it laying down a little bit and it marked some of that out. And then this way. Okay. Okay. Remember I told you one day about the art exhibit that was in a museum, and it was huge sheets, vertical sheets, you know, like 5-6 feet long, that had been monoprinted. It's so. Had been monoprinted like this on a real nice rice paper, and they were hanging just right next to each other. And they may have done it on two sides. I don't know. Anyway, when they had the wax on there and the art was minimal, I believe it was probably India ink or something like that. Sumi, so Sumi. And when the breeze or the air conditioning would come on, they would rustle together. Did you hear me rustle? So I think that's kind of cool. I would like to see that. It's another handmade stick. Making your own colors is so easy. You just get a small container like the tins from Dollar Tree that Rosemary has in her store. I'm not has in her store, in her Encaustic kit. And these little flat tins. And you melt your medium. Oh, shoot, I could show you right here. Right here, right now in River City. The crumple mark was good. Let's see what we get here. No, silicone tools, you can get them at Dollar Tree, in the kitchen aisle, especially. Anything that's flat and a little bit flexible. That's cool. Now, the more white you have left means that those areas don't have wax on them. So you could come back with watercolor and put a wash over it, and it's not going to affect the areas where there's wax. Let me see if I can get a little bit more off. Okay. Dries immediately. That's me. Since I've got this bucket with encaustic in it, I'm going to pull this little guy over here, because that's encaustic. I know that. And I'm going to get a paper towel. Lots of folks use student grade paint for this. And student grade paint has more oil in it, typically. And if you get too much oil with your wax medium, it messes with the adhesion. And of course, I picked an oil tube that it doesn't have any. I can't get the lid off. Let's do this. Y'all are worth it. This is a tube of Williamsburg paint. Let's try this. It's a light blue. This is hardly student quality. And some artist quality tubes use more oil, and some colors use more oil. So it's not totally indicative of student grade oil. Some folks do this and squeeze it out onto a paper towel, leave it however long they feel like they want to, and then they scrape it off. But what happens is they've leached out part of the oil. Typically, the better brands use less oil, so that's just a typically. Hey, Lynn. I just found a plaster book. Let me lay that right there. When I was looking for my Encaustic books, Plaster Studio by Stephanie Lee and Judy Wise. This is going to have to be some looking through. Since there's so much on YouTube these days, I do not read as much as I used to. Okay, give me a brush, give me a brush. Here's one of those good old synthetic brushes that everybody says is a real no-no. And this has been used and heated and again, I want to warn you to do your own research. There are a lot of old wives' tales out there that so-and-so said so-and-so, and it's repeated 4 or 5 times, and the next thing you know, it's gospel. And that's all it takes to get that ready to use. This has very little oil. See, it's just barely beginning to soak through the first layer. A little bit, but not much. So, and that's just because of adhesion. It's not because of anything else. This looks like a pretty color. Now I'm just going to drop this into the bucket and incorporate it into the you can put up to 30% oil color. And again, any more than that, and it's an adhesion problem. Which if you're doing mono printing and stuff like that, you know, you got to be sure. How do I say this? All these things depend on what you want to do with it. So what might work for pieces of 6-foot rice paper hanging in a gallery may be totally different than doing it for monoprint. Okay, I will tell you that you're not going to get real good coverage. I think I had oil paint on that brush. No wonder you got a good. And that is all there is to making your own. And I'm going to put another squeeze just because I can. That should make a real pretty blue. Pretty, pretty blue. Pretty blue, pretty blue. It's like I'm a bird. Pretty blue. And then again, this is something to try for yourself. You don't have to have artist quality materials. If you're doing this a page in a journal or in your altered book, a real thin layer, you wouldn't want very thick. People make encaustic books all the time. Beautiful color. Okay, so I just showed you how to make your own colors. To me, if I had 10 of these little things stacked up, would work just as good for me as having the store-bought cubes. And those store-bought cubes, like I said the other day, can run up to $20 for one because they're made with the good stuff. Beautiful color. Is that a Tiffany color? No, Tiffany has more green, right? This is one of my brushes that used to have a straw on it, so I could oil paint with it. And when they wear out oil painting, let me get this. Hot diggity dog, that's warm. Make a mess, make a mess, make a mess. Keep your eye peeled. One reason I like this warming tray is because if I'm doing an encaustic painting, I need to be able to see the colors. And the stainless steel is kind of a neutral color. The black griddle is a little bit more difficult. Okay. And this, I suspect, well, it didn't on the paper sample I did. I started to say I suspect on the thinner papers that it would. All right, come on, you can do better than that. Let's put a little. I just don't get very inspired with stuff like this, but that's me. That's do some research on it and you'll see some gorgeous stuff. This particular paper that I'm using is the medical exam table stuff. So it is going to disappear somewhat when you put color. I mean, the color is going to disappear a little bit. Yeah, I'll just leave it. We're just playing. I'm just showing you how I suck at making monoprints. Don't tell anybody that I suck making monoprints. I'm just going to pull this straight up. Now see the vertical, some of the smearing that's there. I got a better print here. Of course, I hadn't run. Never mind. I ran my thing through it. It doesn't get any better than this with me, folks. Pick up some more. Probably won't be able to use a glue stick or Nuhu if you're doing collage. You'll have to use something more like a Darlene's tacky glue. But these would make gorgeous collage papers. And I showed y'all that book that I made using these. Now then, any questions? Your pipette might not be such a good idea unless you want to just throw it away because you're not ever going to get the heat out, and that it may melt. I don't know. Pipette. They make glass. You can get a glass thing sometimes out of medicine bottles, and people use those. This isn't so good because it dries the minute it leaves the wax. I think I've also seen metal eyedroppers. I don't know how you deal with the hardening. So we can definitely do splatters. Hi, Lala. Welcome, welcome. We're playing here with encaustic medium and monoprinting. Now I'm going to put this back down. Let's see. We don't want to waste any of this good stuff. I'm just going to put that right down. I'm using the bed stuff from the doctor's office, the stuff they put on the I'm going to get this up as much as I can. And then I'm going to switch to this anodized plate. And like I said, there's variations in temperature, and it's a good idea if you want to try this to look for some folks who have perfected it or worked with it a lot. Now let's wipe it off first. This anodized aluminum plate is sold by Encaustic. And they're the only source I've ever found for it. And believe me, I did try. I tried all kinds of electrical plumbing supply. These things are expensive, and I really wanted a bigger one. Of course, you know me, of course I would. Okay, we're creeping back up to 200 again. This will take a minute. Medical tissue, yes. And going back and reading your comment, Lynn, no, it will not stay fluid enough. It cools. I mean, you've got to be pretty certain where you're going to take it before you pull it out of the pot. This side might get cleaner. And I need and to be quite honest with you, I don't know why looks like a big old scratch. I don't know why these are preferable for this type of work to put straight on the griddle. Maybe it's because the griddle, well, you can turn it down, so getting too hot for a monoprint doesn't make sense. I don't know. It's something to you can draw pictures. Yeah, it's not quite hot enough yet. Fascinating medium to me. Uh-oh. We'll understand, and if I go black, remember that StreamYard will come right back, and you don't have to go anywhere. That is a big old scratch. And here's where you need extra brushes for each color. I'm going to do some yellow and see if I can get some green going on. Come on, melt. I don't know that I've got a green. I always mix them. So we'll mix it. We'll put it over here to the side. You can't see that? Move over. You're hogging all the room. Get my ugly blue out. Blue. And when I work with colors, I use the same limited palette that I do with my painting. A warm and cool yellow, warm and cool blue, warm and cool red. And with that, I can mix almost any color I want. And this too, remember those little bitty makeup things, the little tiny, this is where they come in handy. Because you don't need to mix much. Is this that's the yellow one, no wonder. There's my blue one, no wonder I wasn't getting any blue. Gonna get some blue now. I'm just going to use this one because it's here. And there's our beautiful tree. Now if I want some sky holes, come back and just paint them in. Sculpt my tree a little bit so it doesn't look so much like a spider. I've got this muddy thing that came out of the griddle accident the other day, so. Perfect to make a brown. I go into a hypnotic trance. What else? Oh, that would be blue. Blue, 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 blue. More blue, more blue. Now, please look up some people who do this professionally because you'll see some cool stuff. Okay, okay. All right, now I'm going to use this tracing paper that I've had forever. It comes from I got mine from an engineering supply. It's by Stettler. Staedtler, I believe. Got an air bubble. If you would hold your paper like this and then lay it down toward the edges, you'd have a better result. Okay. It's just like marbling too. I keep promising a marbling class. There you go. I didn't have any real strong colors in there. But there you go. Bye, Layla. Yeah, it is a good brown, but I needed really stronger colors to make this work. Okay. Do y'all get what we're doing with that? I mean, do you understand what the process is? Just like monopruning with a jelly plate. See, my mind goes blank when you put a tool in my hand and have me do a pattern. I don't know why that is. Don't want to waste anything. Buddy, talk about, you know what, brown, poop brown. Moose poop. We need Joyce's sound effects. Now, there would be a use for that, I promise. Ooh. Tell me. You can use this paper to make a window in a book on a page. Ow, hot, hot. Beauty. Okie doke. Now, what's up? 443. Okay, that's good. That's about what I don't want. I don't want that. I want a paper towel. Now I'm going to turn this one off. And what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I'm going to leave it on because I may need this. So the next thing I'm going to do is remove my wood panel a little bit from the fire. Yeah, I think so, Lynn. People that do it professionally do it much better than I do. I mean, they actually get pictures and stuff. Okay, here is my board. I've got like 4 coats on there. I'm impressed with how smooth it is. And I've got my pan pastels over here, ready to go. Okay, I'll follow that. First thing I'm going to do is put a border at the bottom in wax. And what color do I want? I'm going to use, that's yellow. This is kind of a celadon, what they call it, celadon. Celadon green. I need a spot where I can get it mounted. This is just a very light neutral. And I need to clean that off. And then we'll be, once I do this step, we'll be going to the pan pastels. Is Rosie still here? I do too, but it almost always just looks like a tinted white. Which is fine, which is fine. I'm just doing my stamping technique up and down. And this is kind of a grunge whole stencil anyway, so it may get more grungy if it soaks under. This will not harm your stencil. Hey, Joycey, I'm glad you're still here. Is Rosemary still here? This is This is her request. This is kind of going to act as a border or a tablecloth, if you will, for my pears. Oh, yeah, I saw it. Yeah, you're probably right. She'll just have to watch the replay then. There's no telling what she's doing. She's got the biggest imagination. I'm a follower. All right, let's pull this puppy up, move it over. Ta-da! How cool is that? You can see where I missed some holes, but that's okay because this is a funky stencil. Anyway, let's just pop this right down, line it up right there. Come back here. Come back. Come back. Oh, I left and I wanna go home. I just think it's really funny how different we all are. There are some people who would do monoprinting and do just patterns and be happy forever. And I like paint, so I like paint forever pictures. Some of it's the stencil in. Some of it definitely is the stencil like these four. So, like I said, it doesn't matter. Now, brown cow. Clean it up just a little. Sounded like raw board. Put that little dropping over there. Okay. Now, purse. Let's do some purse. I wonder if this will show. Nope. I was thinking about something to draw with. Not that I need it. I'll just go straight to the straight to this. Now, what are you going to use to do it with? Let me see if I can reach my tool. You know, I didn't think about it. I had these index cards here. I could have. Cool. Coolio. Can't find my pointed ones. They're here somewhere. Index cards for Rolodex would be cool with this on them. Okay. Okay. Did you get tired of me saying that? I can't help it. This is why these are so difficult to work. I think I need it to be bigger than that. And then I don't know what's going to go here. Hi, Tanya. Hey, Peg. Yes, on the encaustic medium. Okay, my light's going to come from over here. So this one's up. This one's underneath, so I'm going to do it first. And I really need my hands. And my board's getting a little bit warm. Leaning Tower of Pizza. That's a leather book. Maybe that'll. I need my reds. I don't know if y'all can see this or not. I've got it propped up on the handle of my pears are fun because they have every color in the rainbow. Pan pastels on Encaustic medium. No drag at all. It's very smooth. I'm not paying any attention to the color. I'm just paying attention to the value of the color. Like if I want light, any light will work. I can even use blue, the lightest blue if I want to. And I could use some down here as though. Now when this starts taking on, it's taken on about all it's going to take on. Because pastels do require tooth. And it's just about there. And that's good enough for right now. So, next step is to Fuse it. Wait until this gets hot. Very carefully. Fuse that pastel into the wax. Any questions? What, Peg? Doing this on Encaustic, I mean? All right, now. All right, there's my second purr. Now I can go back into this one now that it's dry, and I can play around with it some more. Oh, okay. No toyo. Now the thing about it is, you saw how it darkened the color? You're not going to get a real vibrant effect. Sorry I got so quiet. This may end up looking very vintage. Gotta put a drop shadow here for that little guy. And that middle part looks awful. Never promised you a rose garden. So that won't have much light because that little guy is killing it. And that red is not working. So I'll put a little bit of purplish. It's actually magenta. And I need something even darker still. This is a dark, dark brown. Cast shadows are real hard right up next to the item. And then they kind of filter away. Yeah, if we could keep that, that'd be great. And now we need, I'm gonna use that brown again. Need to sit them down on their little table. Keep them from looking like they're floating. I just have so much fun with it. They have little butts. Remember, if it's going toward the light, it has a sunlight shadow. Sunlight shadow, there is no such thing. Has a highlight. And that one's about all I can do there. She who doesn't eat fruit has hit. Let's do this. Excuse me. I guess. Y'all still with me? Being quiet here. It's one way to take up the extra space. Put another pair. And we need I may have to use some outlining to make these show. And as with all fixatives, if you've worked with pastel very much, you'll know that it turns the light colors dark. How's that for a long pear stem? Need my white. Okay. Okay. I'm going to be carefuler about the fuse. Better. This is called Banished. I'm so silly. Ooh, too much. There. Gotta hold it up this way and see. Round these babies up. If I had a clean finger. Which I don't. I'm going to use my knife. I'm going to scrape that very carefully. I've got my X-Acto blade flat to the surface. And that got rid of some of that shadow where I daubed at it with my finger. Oh, cute. This one can be called Banished. They're rotten. Do they look rotten? Hmm. 5:20. I didn't think I'd finish that fast. Nope, all right. I know I did one the other day that on that other sample. It just wrote up there so pretty. Okay. I'm using, finally found something that'll work. Stabilo. I don't know what it is, black or green, or doesn't really matter. Doesn't have to be a perfect one. Probably not the best idea in the world to be licking it. Ah, there's some water. I don't have to use my drinking water. Whew. Okay, that can be scratched off. Cool. It's working. I want my line to look kind of sketchy because it's going to be anyway. So we might as well make it work. Vicki discovered something new. How about that? Cool. Below all. I'm going to take a little bit off. Put it on, take it off. I told y'all that is the key to painting. Now, if I can keep my chair from rolling out from under me. I see a butt. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. I see a butt. What did I do with it? I just put it out. There it is. I'm going to take some of this off up here because that's where the sun is, or the light. Thank you, my dear. Now it's going to be interesting to see how much of it we can keep when we put hot wax on it. Still got a few little wet spots from the water. And of course, since the wax is not absorbent, you'll have that. Thank you guys. Waiting on Peg to get back. What did I call them? Banished. Because they're rotten. See, they look rotten. I wish I could get that lighter, but I just don't think there's any way that it'll hold. And for those of you who don't know, I've got the Pan Pastel set, and they are designed to be used all 4 colors together. There's 4 colors of each hue. Now, it looks good, but it's not going to hold. Don't go overboard. My favorite green. Okay, I better quit doodling. Another light fuse, and then we'll put the mainly on that pair I just put the light on. I mean, put the if you touch it, it's gonna come off, goose. I fused it. That was enough. I did too much the very first time. Okay, do y'all see anything else it needs? I like my little dots down there. At this point now, these are unfused. So when I put another layer of wax on, they're 3-dimensional. They're sticking up off the background. So the minute that I put another coat of wax on here, they're going to gradually be level. See, these 2 pairs are lovers. Still want more green on that one. Maybe this will do it. There, that might be better. Okay, I'm not seeing any hints from the peanut gallery. It's not too shabby for an hour's worth of work. Thanks, Gail. Nobody sees anything, right? Okay. Here we go. Oh, I hate to do this. I think I'll move my leather journal out of the way. Here we go. And then hang on to it. Yeah, we lost all the lights, but that's okay. I was just waiting on y'all to say something. Oh, that smells so good. Nectar of the gods. Oh. All right. Cheers. Now you have to be real careful because this pigment is just laying in there. So if you get the wax really hot, the colors are just going to melt into the rest of the painting. I need to slow down then, don't I? Ow, ow, ow. What is? It's on 200 and it. Now I'll scrape that. What a good day. I'm pleased. So it's kind of Pennsylvania Dutchy looking. I'm going to hold it off of that hot thing there. You can get some interesting effects too if you heat your board as you're working on it. Just laying it on the griddle. I would venture to say that there is no end to the things that you can do. Y'all ought to smell it. I'll send you some. Did you get it? Come on, cool. Just a little. Y'all don't need that. And I got done in under 2 hours, so we can go out to eat and avoid the trick-or-treaters. Of course, we can do a pretty good job of that anyway, but it upsets the puppies. We take them with us. Now that I'm going to hold the board. Maybe I can get a neater thing because my wax is hot. See the I could get this. Let's do that. That brush is just about gone. You know what I would think about? Okay, let's tap those little nails back in there. They're 30 cents. I mean, yeah, lights are out. I could use a little bit of tinted wax. But for today, I'm going to put another coat on and then scrape it a little bit and then decide tomorrow. I'm not opposed to this. It kind of looks vintage. These brushes are made out of goat hair, and they're a lot softer than the hog bristle, which is in the chip brush. Come on, thaw out, my darling. Okay, I'm trying to get this brush thawed. As always, I will share anything I know. All you got to do is ask. I don't know everything, but I know a lot about a little bunch of stuff. I was going to show you one more thing. Just one more thing. I sound like Columbo. I could go as a witch tonight and wouldn't need a costume. How about that? Might be able to find a broom. I bet there's going to be some wild costumes at the grown-up parties anyway. What we might do tomorrow is come back on top of it with colored wax and repaint. That's always an option. Peg may not come back before we quit. So if you're there, Peg, we love you. The lights out with pastel is exactly what they do when you spray them with fixative too. So you just have to compensate if it's in a journal or something, put your fixative on and then come back with just a touch of light and put it on after. Yeah, she may not. That's good. I won't wait. I'm not waiting. I'm ready to do this now. What'd you stick to yourself? Okay. Use it. That's enough to bond them together. Let me let this cool over here, and I'm going to show you what I was going to show you and forgot. This just take a few minutes. Woo-wee, does that ever get warm at 200 degrees? Okay. Remember those colored crayons I showed y'all the other day? This is a look you can't get. If I'd been more careful laying it down, I wouldn't have air bubbles. Pretty cool, huh? Do it again. Put the middle in first. Ka-ching, ka-ching. Now, let me wipe that off, which I ordinarily wouldn't do, but I promised you short. Now, those will probably not have any beeswax in them. This is a case where having a little bit of the soy pellet comes in handy, so you don't have to use medium to clean up. That's good enough for who it's for. In the floor. These are the ones I got at Target. They've got a paper wrapper on them. Cool. Oops. That one got broken. Cool, huh? And if you're doing monoprinting, it does not matter if the wax doesn't stick to other layers. Okay, now we're going to try to do this better. And I don't think it makes much difference. Patting it so that I don't blend the colors. Kind of cool. I think those square ones are better. I got those on Amazon. Okay. Hi, Peg. Now, these are the ones that I got on Amazon. I just think those are awesome for it. Problem is, you got to be able to pick it up. Let me try a piece of bond paper. This is some of my avocado dyed. It moved. Okay, it won't work because the paper is textured. I didn't think about that. I love having rolled paper because you don't feel like you're being extravagant. Now, what we need to do is find out cool ways to use these. It does capture quite a bit of it. That's a good idea, Lynn. So that probably needs to be wiped off first. And I'll come back with those same two. Shit. Sorry. Oops. Oopsie. Now, you said paper first. Tomorrow's our last day of encaustic play. So if y'all think of anything that you want to know, let me know. Use this to hold down the paper. Okay, paper down. Gotta have something to hold it. Ding, 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 we have a winner. Lynn Wessel is the winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. Looky there. Miss Lynn. Beautiful. It would work great. It's over there where I can't get to it. I want to check these other colors. That is just awesome. I'm not sure I've seen that, but okay, so now we've got orange and yellow. That doesn't have so much pattern. Let me just do a straight. Coolio. Tomorrow I'll have the painter's paper. And here's orange. Here's orange swirlies. Cool. All right, let me see what I got left. Good grief. I'm gonna try them all. Here's black, white, and gray. and swirlios. It may. We'll try it tomorrow when it's cool. I mean, no telling what kind of wax they have. And some of those waxes are very brittle. Here's green. And blue. Cool. Then again, it's such a thin coat. Ooh, they don't smell so good. It smells kind of like popcorn in the microwave. Ow, those two. Here's blue. Cool. I hope that this week has been good for you guys. This one's nasty. Halloween. Or Christmas, but it's got a lot of yellow in it. Let's do this side. That does look more like Christmas. I wish I could identify that smell. Maybe it's the crayon smell, and I think they use paraffin. I don't remember. One more. Be thinking of questions. Maybe this is Halloween. All right, let me see. Let me go back to the first one and see what happens. It doesn't really have to be the first one. It could be any of them. They dry so fast. It's pretty much soaked into the paper. And it is flaking pretty badly. Yeah, it's flaking pretty bad. But no, again, this paper has wax on it. I mean, it's a kind of a waxed paper. This does not, I don't think. This is our medical exam paper. Reminds me of Bargello patterns back in the day. So you just saw for your very own eyes that Crayolas or something of that nature may not be the best thing to use. Now I did notice with the beeswax, I've got one of those right here. This is the medium. And that's on rice paper. You get a little bit of a line, but not much. I can scratch it off and tear the paper, but it's not flaking off. Now let's see what this does. Oh, look. Flaking off. Doggone it. Yep, just flakes right off. And this is, it might have a little bit of wax on it, but not a whole lot. Cool. So I don't know. We'll have to, y'all put your thinking caps on and see what you would do with these crayons, because they're really cool. But there's no point in using them if they're going to flake off. And I don't know if regular Crayolas will do that or not. They may. Turn everything off. But that was fun. I wonder if you used them sparingly and then put them in a sandwich of encaustic medium, if that would be enough to hold them. Yep, fabric be good. See, all kinds of things. Kind of need to get this blue flaky stuff off my computer, because buying a new computer is definitely not in my future. All right. Yeah, ribbon candles. Okay. I am going to bump out of here. If anybody has any requests for our last day tomorrow, let me know. We've covered an awful lot, but there's a ton more to cover. So we do what we got to do. And I have some kind of a message, WDWK. That must be what happens when you touch the keyboard. Bye, guys. Thank you, Peg. I appreciate everybody for showing up this week especially. And I will see you tomorrow at 4.